So hello everyone. This is just a recorded sync session for our class in assessment. So for week 8, for week 8, we're going to tackle about test development. So let's begin our discussion. For test development, we have five major stages of test development on how we develop tests. First, we need to know which variable or constructs we want to measure or quantify. Then we will proceed to test construction. This part, we're going to generate the number of items, which items, if there are subscales, and afterward, afterwards, after finalizing those items, we have to try it out through pilot testing or test tryout. We need to pilot test it para malaman natin kung umaangkop ba yung mga responses ng mga participants or nung test taker. Kung meron ba mga items na kailangan nating i-revise, i-retain, or uh, baguhin or tanggalin. Then each item will undergo item analysis. So in this part, we have to further assess if which items needed to be removed, revised, or retained. And minsan meron tayong mga validity indexes per item para malaman natin kung may mga items bang need na talagang tanggalin or i-retain. And afterwards, it needs to undergo test revision. In test revision, uulit-ulit tayo sa test tryout. So, up until makuha na natin yung final version ng test. So, all tests are not created equal. Take note, no? So, iba-iba din yung process. But in developing a scale or a test, ito yung usual na process niya. Okay? Test conceptualization, construction, tryout, analysis, and then revision. Now, our test conceived. So, if given all the resources, what variable would you like to measure through a device test? So, usually, um, iniisip pa natin, ano ba yung variable na kailangan nating i-measure? No? Ano ba yung construct? Is it narcissism ba? Is it a paternal acceptance ba? No? Iba't ibang mga klaseng mga variables or constructs that we have to determine, no? And ano ba yung need? Sino ba yung population? On the test conceptualization phase, um, here are some preliminary questions that we can answer. What is the test designed to measure? And what is the objective of the test? No? This determines the goal of the test. It presents objectives that are same or as different from other tests with similar goals. Example would be the Ravens progressive matrices and the Stanford Binet intelligence test. So, ano ba yung main difference lang? Dalawa. So, ang Ravens progressive matrices, ang magkakaalam natin, it does measure non-verbal IQ. Well, see, Stanford Binet naman, it measures verbal IQ. So, it's important for us to determine ano ba yung gusto talaga i-measure ng test natin. So anything can stimulate concepts such as there should be a test designed to measure Filipino traits, and any emerging phenomenon can stimulate a new test. Example would be fanaticism, niche picking, no, yung mga ganun, narcissism, anything that emerges in the society or by human beings. Available scientific literature may stimulate the development of more psychometrically sound tests. So take note of that one. So the test needs to underwent further development. Kailangan pa siyang ma-support by research para talagang makadevelop tayo ng standardized talaga na test to measure. So sa akin medyo mahirap o medyo matagal yung process nung pag-develop ng test, kailangan din siya ng pera or ng budget. Now, moving on to some preliminary questions. Is there a need for this test? It concerns how a test can be differs. from other existing tests, and it should have a better psychometric soundness or efficient administration. And then another question could be asked: who will use the test? So the test should be handled specifically to a qualified test users, such as clinicians, therapists, educators, by the HR, and who will take the test. So we should be certain of the population of who will use the test, like children, adolescents, adults, or older adults. Age is also a consideration, as well as the reading and cultural considerations and concepts. And so next would be, should more than one form of test can be developed? Tests can have different subsets or versions of the same universe of items that measure the same construct. So however, parallel or alternative versions also considered its cost and benefits. Meron bang special training that is required for the test users to interpret or administer this test? And what types of responses will be required by test takers? So, is it more of multiple choice ba? True or false? Likert scaling ba siya? Okay? So, take note of this one. Next, who benefits from the administration of the test? So, of course, it will be the society at large. From the results, the test users and test takers derive benefit from the results. Is there any potential harm as a result of administration of the test? Would there be relief of traumas? No? Will the person feel mental pain or struggle as you read the items? Those things can also be considered. How will meaning be attributed to the scores of the test? So test takers can be interpreted through comparing the scores with other or to a criterion. Next, norm reference test versus criterion reference test. So criterion reference testing and assessment are commonly employed in licensing contexts. Let's say for the board examinations, the board examinations, they do claim that it is criterion reference, no, yung measure of scoring or yung interpretation of the results. Criterion reference approaches are also employed in educational contexts in which mastery of a particular material should be measured. So criterion, let's say every part or domain of the lesson of psych assessment, we have ethics, validity, reliability, utility, di ba yung mga domains na yon, no? Yung mga approaches na yon. So through that, makikita natin kung may mastery ba sa paraan na or meron ba silang sufficient knowledge dun sa mga concepts na yon. Okay? So, moving forward is the pilot work. So, pilot work, ito naman yung sa test tryout na stage. So, preliminary research surrounding the creation of a prototype of the test. So, the test developer typically attempts to determine how the best to measure a targeted construct. So, through pilot testing, we can determine paano ba nagre-respond si test taker, no? Meron bang items na hindi masyado naiintindihan? May mga ambiguous items ba or choices? Kung meron, edi papalitan natin yung mga items na yon. May mga choices ba na hindi kailangan? Hindi ba ganun ka-effective yung detractors ng mga items, no? So through pilot work or pilot testing, we can determine that one. So this is under test tryout. For the test construction phase, so in this part, we employ scaling. It's the process of setting rules for assigning numbers in measurement. So in psychometrics, scales may also be conceived as an instrument used to measure. There is no one method of scaling and there is no best type of scale. So scale, for test developers, no, they optimally choose dependent on what type of tests are they trying to do. So there are types of scales, age-based, grade-based, no, canine scales. No, it really depends on the scale developer or test developer, which is kayo na yun, no? For scaling methods, we usually do rating scales. Ito yung Likert scaling, grouping of words, statements, or symbols on which judgments of the strength of a particular trait, attitude, or emotions are indicated by the test taker. So it's either never justified, always justified, strongly agree, disagree, something like that. Likert scale. So each item presents the test taker with 5 alternative responses, so sometimes 7. Usually on a agree to disagree or approve to disapprove continuum and assigning weights of 1 through 5 and generally works best. So example could be never justified, rarely justified, sometimes justified, etc. etc. For the scaling methods, we do have unidimensional scale and multidimensional scale. So for unidimensional scale, only one dimension is presumed to underlie the rating, so multidimensional is more than one dimension is thought to guide the test taker's responses. And responses to these items may also reflect their attributes and beliefs, including related to documented benefits of marijuana use or kung ano man yan. So ito yung example niya. No? And then, for yan, okay, we can also utilize comparative scaling or categorical scaling. For comparative scaling, example could be comparing it, no, to other. Let's say arrange the following cards to what is least desirable to most desirable. So meron din siyang ganong klaseng test, no? Ano yung pinaka-okay sa'yo na picture based dun sa mga present mo na lahat ng pictures. Categorical scaling, similar or placed in either one of the two alternative categories that differ quantitatively with respect to some continuum. Yan. So, we also have writing the items. The following are considered for when writing test items. So the range of content the item covers, the types of item format, the number of items written in total, and for each content area covered. So when we devise a standardized test, sometimes we use multiple choice format. This is advisable. And sometimes we use true or false. No? Lalo na if we're creating an aptitude test or an entrance examination test. Searches through the academic research literature may prove fruitful as may search through other databases. So here are the item formats. We have here the item pool. So ito yung imbakan or yung reservoir ng mga items ng saan kukunin ng test taker, any test user. Saan niya kukunin yung mga items. So usually may test pool siya, no? Yung nag-take ako ng isang qualifying exam, napansin ko na iba yung na-take nung kasama ko compared sa akin. So basically, may mga items silang ikinukuha from that item pool. So item format refers to the form, plan, structure, arrangement, and layout of the individual. So we have here the STEM. Ito yung main question. Then for the choices, we have distractors and the correct answer or the correct alternative. So, minsan, ang distractors is sobrang malapit siya dun sa correct answer, but you have to choose the best answer, especially if multiple choice yung format. So it has one stem, one correct alternative or option, and there are 3 several incorrect alternatives. So usually this is called distractors or foils. So for a multiple choice test that has 4 choices, the probability of obtaining the correct response is 25%, while for a true or false, the probability of getting the correct answer will be 50%. Okay, selected response format. This requires test takers to select a response from a set of alternative responses. So, another is also constructed response format. This requires test takers to supply or to create the correct answer and not to merely to select it. And so, in creating a test like this one, aptitude tests, quizzes, examinations, we usually use this one. And minsan, nanganganak pa yung STEM. ng mga mas maraming questions, especially if it will be a case. So kung case siya, nangahanap pa siya ng mga questions, depende doon sa main, doon talaga sa STEM. So meron pa siyang pwedeng second question, then third question, as based from the case in number 78, something like that. So minsan, ganun din sa mga examinations at sa mga tests. Okay? Now, let's proceed to matching items. So, the test taker is presented with two columns, premises on the left and responses on the right. For very young test takers, the instructions will direct them to draw a line from one premise to one response. We have true or false items. So, a binary choice item, wherein my disadvantage of the binary choice item is that the probability of obtaining a correct response purely is on the basis of chance or guessing, so 50%. Another format could be completion item. It requires the examinee to provide a word or phrase that completes a sentence. Matching item, the test taker here is presented with two columns. So basically, i-match mo sila. Sino ba yung mga magkakaugnay sa bawat isa? Short answer item. So it is desirable for completion or short answer items to be written clearly enough that the test taker responds sufficiently. Next, we have the essay item. So over this part, it requires the test taker to respond to a question by writing a composition. And next, we writing items for computer administration. So the item bank is a relatively large and easy accessible collection of test questions. Sometimes we utilize computer adaptive testing, wherein we use computers or we use technology in order to score or in order to generate the questions. So in CAP, we sometimes uh, no could allow technology to generate the items towards the test taker. So item branching is the ability of the computer to tailor the content in order of the presentation of test items on the basis of responses to previous items. So CAP reduce floor effects and ceiling effects. Now, let's go to ceiling effect and floor effect. So ceiling effect is kapag malaki yung nakuha ni test taker, no? Ceiling effect, no? Malaki yung kayang nakuha. So the test is easy for him or her. So si floor effect naman, mababa yung nakuha ng test taker. So in other words, mahirap ang test. Okay? Ganun lang po siya kasimple. Now, let's go to scoring the items. So we have cumulative model and we have the following: class scoring, category scoring, executive scoring, etc. etc. Okay, cumulative model. Ito naman yung ina-add natin yung mga correct answers, mga correct items na nakuha ni test taker so that we could try to cumulate, no? Ilan ba yung scoring niya? Class scoring naman is wherein the test taker's responses earn credit toward placement in a particular class or category with other test takers whose pattern of responses is presumably similar in some way. Executive scoring is then we compare the test taker's score on the scale within a test to another scale within that same test. And we have test tryout. So the test tryout, the test should be tried out on people who are similar in critical respects to the people for whom the test was designed. So an informal rule of thumb is that there should be no fewer than 5 subjects and preferably as many as 10 for each item of the test. The test tryout should be executed under conditions such as identical as possible to the conditions under which the standardized test will be administered. All instructions, the time limits, atmosphere of the test site should be as similar as possible. So we usually do this in order for us to determine kung nakakuha ba niya yung ginawa nating test ng usual participants natin. So, para siyang prototype testing. Ganun. So, ito na yung test natin. So, okay, Just to ensure that we made the items right, ipapatry out natin siya. So now, what is a good test item? So a good test item is reliable and valid. It helps to discriminate test takers from one another. And also, nakukuha kung ano ba talaga yung item na kailangan. Ayan. So, uh, okay. Okay, we're almost halfway. So I'm just going to end this recording. First session to natin.